Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by Joshua Buatsi. Josh, how are you?
Not bad, Danny. Yourself?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm assuming you're out in the US, 7 weeks to go till your fight. Just give us an idea of what you're doing in camp at the moment.
Right now, we're kind of increasing the sparring bit. The last few weeks has been more technical work, just drilling and drilling. Probably have another week of that, and then we go deep into sparring. I've already started sparring anyway, so that's, I guess, from that perspective, that's good. But it's only the workload is only gonna increase really and truly. So I'm just preparing myself for that.
How would you compare the level and variety of sparring that you're able to obtain in the US compared to what you were getting back home?
To be fair, I had a good variety of sparring partners in London. I sparred Zach Shelley, Dan Aziz. Just now, see, I played myself here because I started to drop names, and now I'm gonna forget, and it's gonna get a bit personal. But now there's a whole load of people that I mix up with in London that give me rounds. But out here is good too because people come from different states, not just Cali. Like people come from everywhere to spar and that. So that's quite good as well, man.
You're fighting Ricards Bolotniks, obviously the winner of the Golden Contract tournament. Before this fight was proposed to you, how aware were you of him and his record and what he's achieved?
I'd heard of him before because when he boxed, when the first round of it happened, I went to watch it. He boxed Stephen Ward, yeah. So I was there watching it. It was a first round job. The interesting thing about that night was I went because I went to hand my British title belt to the British Board of Boxing because I didn't defend it 3 times, so I had to hand it in. And that I was like, if there's a boxing show going on, I can watch some boxing and actually give the belt. So yeah, that's what happened that night. But so I saw him boxing in that fight. It was a first round job, and that was it. I know he's boxed Jose Burton and a German fighter called Serge Mikel, or Mikel. Maybe I'm mixing the name wrong.
No, you got it right, Serge Michel.
Yeah. So I know he's boxed him as well, and that's about it really. He did well to win the Golden Contract as well. So he's a familiar name, and he's in great form as well.
You've already got higher world rankings with several governing bodies. He, I think, has got a slightly higher ranking with the WBO only. But is this all about keeping your options open and also it being a good test, of course?
Yeah, I think most importantly is a good test. And at this point, it's the right test as well. So I look forward to seeing how it goes. And he's definitely up for it. And we know what he's going to come and try to do. It's for us to make sure that doesn't happen.
If you can kind of distance yourself from your own career, if you were looking at it as an observer, would you be slightly surprised that you haven't had a world title shot just yet?
I would be like, I'd be like, who in the cycle as a light heavy that he went to, the Olympic cycle, out of that bunch, who's gone in to win a world title? And I'd be like, actually no one has. And then I'll look at all the other divisions and I'd be like, well, every division is very competitive. This division in particular, it stands out. And it's a very competitive one. So I'd say actually he's doing okay because he's just under the world level, waiting. And I'm sure when the time comes right, I'll take it. So again, we can look at the negatives and everything, but I don't do that at all with a lot of situations. And that's a mindset that I've always had. To always look at the plus side of things. So as an outside observer, it's hard to say as an outside observer because I'm observing myself, but sure. That's how I look at it.
What is going to be the key thing that, when you decide it's time for the world title shot? Is it your decision? Is it when Virgil says, I think you're ready? Is it the management team, combination of all of it? What will be the key kind of decision?
It's a whole mix of things, but I think Virgil said it in the interview after my last fight. He said if we're able to get the money right, the training camp right in terms of getting the right people in to spar, to get the preparation right for the fight, then it could happen end of the year or early next year. So I think Virgil said it as it is there. The preparation must be right, and things must be done accordingly. And when those things are in place, then I'm sure I'll be like, cool. I don't see any other reason why not.
Now, I'm sure everyone's probably asked you this already today, but have you got a particular champion in mind?
I don't, but the highest I've got is with the WBA, which makes Bivol currently the guy that, if I am to fight for what I think it will be that, because I've got just simply because I've got a higher ranking. So I think it would be that, yeah.
And he's with Matchroom, of course, so it's a relatively easy fight to make on the surface. Yeah. When I spoke to you previously, I think you'd only seen bits of his last fight with Craig Richards. Have you since seen the whole fight or more of it?
And Danny, I said I'm definitely going to watch it after my fight. But I haven't. But that's because I've come out straight here. So maybe in a few days or something like that, I'll get a bit more time to watch it and all of that. But it's hard for me to like think about other people and concentrate on them, because I'm thinking, what am I going to do to improve myself? What old school fighter can I see on my iPad and see what he's doing and how he did it? What can I learn from that? So no, I still haven't seen the fight with him and Richards yet, but I'm sure at some point I will. Yeah.
With your last answer in mind, which old school fighters most recently have you been watching on your iPad?
I put a photo of Joe Lewis up yesterday, and it's just because I came across a few clips of him, just a few study clips, just seeing what he does and how he did it. And I think when we talk about old school fighters, we refer to Sugar Ray Robinson a lot. So that's like the obvious one, but I thought Joe Lewis, man, he growing up, and when I started boxing, I watched a bit of him as well. So I was like, let me go back and just watch a few things of him. So currently we're looking at Joe Lewis.
And how much of that kind of research, if you like, is self-driven? How much of it is Virgil saying, there's this really great guy I remember, you should watch him, fits with your style, whatever?
No, this is just something that I do in my spare time. As you can imagine, I'm the busiest guy in the Bay Area. I'm definitely not. There's nothing to do, so I've got the time to say, oh, let me watch this fight, or this guy was quite good. Why was he good? What did he do? So yeah, there's time for me to do it, man.
What have been the biggest changes you've noticed so far in terms of working with Virgil Hunter compared to what you were doing before? You always prepared incredibly professionally, but I'm sure there must be differences in his own style.
Yeah, for me, mainly the main thing out here, Danny, is the IQ of boxing. That's just what I'm trying to learn more of and improve on. Every coach has got a different style, you're right, and different methods to how things should be done. But also every fighter is different. So where Virg may feel I should do things, quite open to say, let's just see how you do it, Josh. And then I'll just say, oh, this is how I usually do it. Like, let's say a few days before the fight, it was quite interesting because I did things a certain way and he just allowed me to do it. And I was like, oh, that works cool, because that's just what I'm used to. And it was okay. And certain bits, he was like, Josh, I'd advise you to do this instead. And I was like, cool, we can do that. And it was okay. Like, it was just, compromising, but also listening to an older head, and then also recognizing that actually this is something that I need to do for myself. And this is just what I've been doing, and it works for me.
Good stuff. And tell us a little bit about the setup out there as well. So are you staying in an apartment on your own? Are there other fighters around? How does that side of it work?
Yeah, I stay on my own. And then we all meet down the gym. Sometimes we live together. Sometimes we live near each other. It all varies because everyone comes out at different dates. Like currently, Marius, who's fighting Tank Davis, just left camp yesterday. So our dates has crossed over. Tony Yoka was here, I think, 2 weeks ago, so our paths crossed as well. And another fighter, Sulaiman Sissoko, is going to be out here soon, so our paths may cross. There's another fighter, Bakram.
Yes.
Yeah, he's I think he's like mandatory for the IBF. So he's in camp at the moment, so we've crossed paths. So yeah, it just depends the dates that everyone's got, really.
You said you're nothing to do out there in the Bay Area, but what do you get up to apart from watching old time fighters in the rare time off you get?
What else do? I do a lot of sightseeing, believe it or not. If you put me in England, I'd be in my house or I'll be at my house. But here, I can research and find out, oh, there's a little nice view somewhere down the road, not too far. I can drive there, I can look at it, I can appreciate it. And time does kind of go quick out here as well. As an athlete, as much as there's a lot of time, a lot of the time you're resting. So it's not to say I'm just sitting looking out the window thinking, what can I do today? There's a lot of time that I do have, but it's to rest accordingly for the next session. So it all adds up.
And you mentioned Mario Barrios there. I think I spoke to him about 2 weeks ago. Really, really nice guy. What do you make of how he's looked in camp in the time you shared? And what do you make of the weekend's fight with Tank Davis?
Massive task ahead. Massive, absolutely humongous. But I've seen him work very hard, man. I was gonna say weeks and weeks, but I can say months and months. His camp started before mine in February this year. He was already out here when I got out here. When I came back, as in the first week of June, he was already still out here. So he's been in camp for a very, very long time because he was meant to fight Tank in April, but that didn't happen. So he carried on, he stayed out here. So he's really dedicated himself for the last few months. And again, I feel this is one of them ones where opportunity has met preparation. So I think he'll be more than ready. And myself and the guys at the gym will be watching it. But yeah, we're supporting him. Very confident that he's worked hard, and like I said, opportunity has met preparation.
He's a WBA champion. You mentioned Jasov, who's a mandatory contender for a world title. You've got Sissoko, unbeaten former amateur star, Tony Yoka, the same. What difference, if any, has it made for you being surrounded by these highly talented, ambitious crop of fighters who are all kind of closing in on world titles now?
Yeah, it's quite good, man, because we know we're kind of almost there. So we're all working hard. For me, when I'm there, I'm just watching what these guys are doing because they've been there a bit longer than me. And I can see how they're kind of working and what they've learned. And I can ask questions if I want to ask questions. But ultimately, we all have different styles as well. Do you know what I mean? But it's just nice to be in a gym where, like you said, we're all almost there. So everyone's hungry, willing to learn and to go the extra mile. So that atmosphere and that environment is good. Absolutely.
Is there any element of friendly competition as well? Like, do you do much together in terms of, I don't know, circuits or runs or anything like that?
Yeah, no, we do. Even sometimes on bag work, there's like a wall bag where we're drilling, but there may be 2 or 3 of us. So yeah, there's always that competition. I wouldn't call it competition. Well, is it competition? Yeah, it is. It's no one mentions it, but it's I mean, so that's almost there, but it's a good one. It's a healthy one. So I do like it. I'm nowhere near the same weight category as these guys.
Cool.
I don't sit there and think, oh, I could potentially fight you. That's not there. I think 2 of them are light middles, and then Yoka is a heavyweight. So I don't sit there and think, oh, I might move up to heavy one day. Nah.
You could obviously be in touch with your friend Anthony Joshua about Yoka, perhaps as a future challenger. He's on the way up.
I feel that they're different side of the coin, man. Josh is obviously up there ruling. Yoka's not up there yet, but he will get there. I highly rate Yoka, man. Having seen him more, I highly rate him as a fighter. Cool guy as well. I like him as a person, man.
And just before I let you go, just a comment about competing at Fight Camp this time around. Last year, you just missed out by a couple of months. We saw you back, I think, 2 months after Fight Camp instead. How excited are you, especially this time around? Fans will be in attendance.
Absolutely. I think watching it from home, they put on a great show. So actually being part of it, headlining, and fans being back, you couldn't ask for more. And it's matching up in it together. So I expect and I know that they're going to put on a good show. So the stage has been set. It's for us, the fighters, to go out there and to make the most out of it. But Matchroom, I keep saying they're good at what they do. So I'm in no doubt that they're going to put on a good show for sure.
You've been on Sky TV throughout your career. You've become very popular, very well known partly as a result of that. You're now going to be on DAZN exclusively in the UK. From a fighter's point of view, what difference, if any, will that make?
I think there's advantages and disadvantages, but you know, DAZN is going to be global now. People can watch it from all across the world. Do you know what I mean? It's just customizing the new viewers that we got to download an app and kind of have it available. Whereas I guess with Sky is a channel where you just flick it on and you can watch whatever you want to watch. So I think there's advantages and disadvantages, but Matchroom are expanding and that's what they do. They're very good at doing that. And I'm sure they've even got more plans to expand more. It just means more exposure for the boxers, more eyes will be watching you. And as fighters, we want that all the time. So we could never say anything other than that.
And as one of the headliners of Fight Camp, which is the first 3 shows in this new DAZN deal, you're clearly a focal point of this, you know, new era, if you like. That must make you feel pretty good that they've invested that faith in you, both DAZN and Matchroom.
No, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Opportunities like this, I don't take for granted at all. And I'm always grateful for it. And that's why when it's time to fight, you make sure you prepare hard and you put on a good show.
Great stuff. Well, we'll look forward to that great show on August the 14th. Very best of luck with the rest of your camp. And yeah, we look forward to catching up again after the fight.
Thanks, Annie. Appreciate that, man. Have a good one. Thank you.
And you, mate. Take care. Speak soon.